A long, long time ago, long before bears walked the earth, a frozen sea shattered into pieces, scattering tiny bits of ice across the darkness of the sky. Each of those pieces of ice contains the spirit of a bear, and if you are good and brave and strong, one day your spirit will join them. Khalid leaned against her mother's hind leg, listening to the story she had heard so many times before. Beside her, her brother, Takik, stretched, batting at the snowy walls of the den with his paws. He was always restless when the weather trapped them inside. When you look carefully at the sky, Khalik's mother continued, you can see a pattern of stars in the shape of the great bear, Silaluk. She is running around and around the pathway star. Why is she running? Khalik chipped in. She knew the answer, but this was the part of the story where she always asked. Because it is snow sky and she is hunting. With her quick and powerful claws, she hunts seal and beluga whale. She is the greatest of all hunters on the ice. Khalid loved hearing about Silaluk's strength. But then the ice melts, Nisa said in a hushed voice, and she can't hunt anymore. She gets hungrier and hungrier, but she has to keep running because tree hunters pursue her. Robin, chickadee, and moosebird. They chase her for many moons, all through the warm days, until the end of burnt sky. Then, as the warmth begins to leave the earth, they finally catch up to her. They gather around her and strike the fatal blow with their spears. The heart's blood of the great bear falls to the ground, and everywhere it falls, the leaves on the trees turn red and yellow. Some of the blood falls on Robin's chest, and that is why the bird has a red breast. Does the great bear die? Breathed Takik. She does, Nisa replied. Kalik shivered. Every time she heard this story, it frightened her all over again. Her mother went on. But then, Snow Sky returns, bringing back the ice. Silalukers are born, and the ice hunt begins all over again, season after season. Kalik snuggled into her mother's soft white fur. The walls of the den curved up and around them, making a sheltering cave of snow that Kalik could barely glimpse in the dark, although it was only a few paw lengths from her nose. Outside, a fierce wind howled across the ice, sending tendrils of freezing air through the entrance tunnel into their den. Kalik was glad they didn't have to be out there tonight. Inside the den, she and her brother were warm and safe. Kalik wondered if Silaluk had ever had a mother and brother, or a den where she could hide from the storms. If the great bear had a family to keep her safe, maybe she wouldn't have to run from the hunters. Kalik knew her mother would protect her from anything scary until she was big enough and strong enough and smart enough to protect herself. Takik batted at Kalik's nose with his large furry paw. Kalik's scared, he teased. She could make out his eyes gleaming in the darkness. I'm not, Kalik protested. She thinks robins and chickadees are going to come after her, Takik said with an amused rumble. No, I don't, Kalik growled, digging her claws into the snow. That's not why I'm scared. Ha! You are scared, I knew it. Nisa nudged Kalik gently with her muzzle. Why are you frightened, little one? You've heard the legend of the great bear many times before. I know, Kalik said. It's just... It reminds me that soon Snow Sky will be over, and the snow and ice will all melt away. And then we won't be able to hunt anymore, and we'll be hungry all the time, right? Isn't that what happens during burnt sky? Kalik's mother sighed, her massive shoulders shifting under her snow-white pelt. Oh, my little star, she murmured. I didn't mean to worry you. She touched her black nose to Kalik's. You haven't lived through a burnt sky yet, Kalik. It's not as terrible as it sounds. We'll find a way to survive, even if it means eating berries and grass for a little while. What is berries and grass? Kalik asked. Takik wrinkled his muzzle. Does it taste as good as seals? No, Nisa said, but berries and grass will keep you alive, which is the important thing. I'll show them to you when we reach land. She fell silent. For a few heartbeats, all Khalid could hear was the thin wail of the wind battering at the snowy walls. Thank you for listening.